Hello Rhinos, how are you all doing? Today we're going to cover, is intermittent fasting good for a type 2 diabetic? Let's get into it. Why am I qualified to talk about this? My name is John Collett, and in March 2018 I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and within 6 months I managed to reverse my condition naturally, and I want to help you do the same. In today's video, what we're going to talk about, what is intermittent fasting? Is intermittent fasting good as a type 2 diabetic? The different types of intermittent fasting you can do. We're going to cover some additional benefits, and if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you a free gift. So if you decide to go on this intermittent fasting journey, that can help you along the way. So let's get started. First thing is, what is intermittent fasting? Well, intermittent fasting is a period of time where you do not eat. This is traditionally when you have your last meal at night, and then you go to bed, and then you wake up in the morning and you have your breakfast. So breaking your fast, okay? So that is intermittent fasting, a period of time where you do not eat food. Now, this is no radical new idea that's on the market. Intermittent fasting has been with us for centuries. Many religions have periods in their time during the year where people intermittent fast. In the Christian religion, we have the story of Jesus, who went 40 days and 40 nights going into the desert, and he has to deal with trials by the devil, okay, and he was doing fasting during this period. Muslims, they have Ramadan, where they have a period of time where they don't eat from dawn till dusk, and this is the aim of this is to teach them discipline and to remember what it's like to live life for the poor. And I hope that's right. I really do. I did a bit of research on it. Blame the BBC if it is wrong. Please put in the comments below if it is wrong. I do apologize if it is. So is intermittent fasting good for you as a type 2 diabetic? Well, to first answer that question, I need to explain to you how your body used to work and how it's working now, and then I'll explain how intermittent fasting helps in that scenario. So when you eat food, that food gets turned into glucose in your bloodstream. That glucose then goes through your bloodstream, and then you've got millions of blood cells in your body that want to absorb that glucose for energy. To be able to do that, your pancreas has to produce a hormone called insulin. And when that insulin then connects to those cells, it allows that energy in, so those cells then can burn that energy to keep you going through the day. Any excess energy that the cells can't cope with gets turned into glycogen, goes into your muscles and goes into your liver, and then the rest of that gets stored as fat in your body so you can burn it for later. The problem is you're a type 2 diabetic. Your body doesn't quite work like that anymore. What's happening now, when you eat food, it gets turned into glucose, it goes through your bloodstream. But when the pancreas produces the insulin to tell the cells to absorb the energy, the cells ignore it. And this is called insulin resistance. And so what happens is that energy then gets stored into your muscles and into your liver, and then gets stored as fat, and it causes a bigger and bigger problem. And so you've got to understand that type 2 diabetes is not just a food problem. It's not just a lack of exercise problem. It's an insulin resistance problem. And anything you can do to improve the insulin resistance is going to be a good thing. And that is what intermittent fasting can do. So let me explain. It takes about 8 hours for your body to deplete the energy in the cells in your body. And then what happens, like I said, once that's depleted, it'll take the energy from your glycogen in your muscles and in your liver, and then it'll take the energy from your fat. And this is known as going into ketosis. So anything you can do to allow that to burn fat is a good thing when it comes to reversing your type 2 diabetes, because a lot of people would say, which I do agree, that if you can get rid of the fat in your liver and in your pancreas, your body is going to communicate with itself better, and you're way on the way to achieving it. The other thing that the other benefit of doing this is that once the cells are depleted of energy, when your pancreas produces insulin, it is going to be more receptive to taking in the energy from taking in the energy in your blood, which is going to improve your insulin resistance. So yes, is intermittent fasting good for a type 2 diabetic? Yes, it is, but is it good for all type 2 diabetics? Because there are different things you've got to take into consideration, and I would say in some cases the answers are no. If you're unfortunate enough to be a type 2 diabetic and you're under 16, I wouldn't recommend that you do intermittent fasting. Yet again, if you're pregnant, I wouldn't recommend you do intermittent fasting. And if you suffer with eating disorders, I definitely wouldn't do intermittent fasting. You don't want to be getting into that world. Once you've got out of it, you're better off without it. Now, the good news is when I started on this journey, if you are one of those people, when I started on this journey, okay, and I was ignorant to what was going on, I didn't research any diets or anything like that. I just ate real food and did exercise. I didn't intermittent fast. And when I did get told by my doctor I could come off medication, I had never intermittent fasted. And my A1C levels were around about a 5. But what I would say to you is when I did learn, I started reading from Dr. Jason Fung and different other things about intermittent fasting, and I did start intermittent fasting, then it did bring my blood sugar levels down even further. So it definitely is a benefit, but it's not something that you essentially have to do. Because I have met plenty of people, even non-type 2 diabetics, healthy sports people, who it's in their benefit to intermittent fast, and they just physically, they can't do it. They just can't cope. And I'm going to put another video up at the end of this video with tips on how to help you achieve that, or if you know what to do and what foods to eat and what not to eat. So what are the different types of fasting that you can do? Well, first of all, when you start the fast, I strongly do advise you ease yourself in. If you're a type 2 diabetic, I would first start with eating real food, okay? Eating real food and just getting used to that change in your body. But then when you do start intermittent fasting, if you want to go extend the term without eating between 10 hours to 12 hours to 14 hours. Now, I do what I call a 16-8. So I go 16 hours without eating and 8 hours where I do. So I traditionally break my fast at about 12 o'clock. And then I'll have my last meal at 8 o'clock. Okay, so, but you got to fit times which suit you. There are other people do some more extreme ones where they'll go like 18 hours, 20 hours, and there's even 24 hours, which doesn't mean that you don't eat at all. It just means you have one meal a day, which is what they call an OMAD diet, one meal a day. Now, some people I know do this quite successfully, but they don't do it every day. They'll do it maybe once or twice a week. But the reason I don't do it is because for me, it just comes down to calorie restrictions. And whenever I've met anyone trying to reverse their type 2 diabetes and they're doing calorie restrictions, it don't work. It just doesn't work. What happens is your body gets out of sync over a period of time, and then you start getting tired and having bigger problems that way. So what is one other benefit of intermittent fasting? Well, one of the other benefits of intermittent fasting is if you eat a small meal as your last meal at 8 o'clock, then you are going to sleep better. And the benefits, and the reason you're going to sleep better is because your body is not trying to process a massive amount of food, and you will sleep better. Now, some people with type 2 diabetes, it's brought on from stress, and they're stressed, and because they're stressed, they don't sleep very well. And because they don't sleep very well, they get high blood sugars because their liver has to produce more sugar to keep them going when they can't sleep. So anything you can do to help you sleep, lower those stress levels, lower that blood sugar, is a real big benefit to you too. Now, I said I was going to give you a free gift, and that free gift is if you want to go and try your intermittent fasting, if you go to the description below, click the link, it's going to take you to a website, put your name and email address in there, and I'll send you a blood glucose and conversion chart. It's a spreadsheet, and what you can do is you can stick your pre-fasting blood sugar levels in, your post-fasting blood sugar levels in, and it'll even convert your mmol or your mgdl to A1C. To learn how that chart works, click on this video by here. I hope you enjoy it. It's the same chart that we give our clients for helping them reversing their type 2 diabetes in part of our program. I'm going to stick a video here about the foods that you can eat and you've got to avoid when you are fasting. Just remember, you're not a number, you're a rhino. Now charge.